Hey gang, can we do this? It's kind of not so nice outside. T-Rex, you ready? You want to do it? You sure? You sure you want to do it? He's sure. He's sure. I'm sure. 62 degrees. Still not sure of the forecast, but it's chilly out there. Water temperature is 65, air temperature is 62, so this is chilly air coming across the water. 8:30, September 20th, and the moon just passed full, having an impact on our tides. Waves, gravity waves. Steve, what do you think of this wind? You like it? I think he likes it. What is wind? Air moving from high pressure to low pressure. Actually, the low's over there. But it goes in circles because the Earth is going in circles. So the Earth kind of spins out from beneath the air. And that's why it goes around clockwise in high pressure, counterclockwise in low pressure. Steve is just going to sit right here. Steve, let's make a run for it. Let's go out to the bird feeder. Come on. Come on, Steve. Let's do it. Nope, wrong way. Oh, boy. Oh. Herding cats and doing the weather. Yeah, that's what we do. I'm trying to get out of the wind, if possible. Come over here next to the euonymus, the burning bush, which should start burning pretty quickly. The fall color is coming on fast. How fast? Well, Josh Worth at Montgomery, Vermont, JP, says it's peak foliage right now. He took this shot at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It was sunny. It was 84 degrees yesterday in St. Johnsbury, Vermont. The record, though, is 87 from 1955, so not quite record warmth, but an extraordinary day that it was 20 degrees colder here by the ocean. Oh, how does that happen? And then Dale, also, and a good follow, a friend on X, says that we're still about a week away here at Stowe. And in Stowe this morning, I got the image of Mount Mansfield, which shows nice color, doesn't it? And the sun was out at Mount Mansfield, and that's the moon above Mount Mansfield this morning. So that's the thing about the harvest moon. It lingers longer in our sky. We love the harvest moon. So this is day 2 of a multi-day nor'easter, so I think it's going to keep going tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, probably about a 5 or 6 day nor'easter. And it's not just one storm, it's a series of surface lows with a big upper level cutoff low pressure system. What that cutoff means is that the air is coming in from the northeast all the way up to 20,000 feet. A lot of times I'll show you these maps and I'll say, oh, well, up in the sky the air is from the southwest and down below it's from the northeast, and that's overrunning. Well, that's not the case. In this case, it's just a solid, huge area of counterclockwise circulation, a cyclone at all levels of the atmosphere, and that's also called blocking. We had the good kind of blocking, which they still do in Vermont, we still do, with a closed upper level high. Now it's a closed upper level low. And the rain band's sitting just to the east of Boston again today. How much rain did we get in the last 60 hours, 48 hours? Started on Cape Cod 2 days ago. This is the 2-day rainfall total, and look at that. Who got the most? 2.6 inches on Nantucket for the wind. Everyone always says Nantucket always misses these systems. Well, this is definitely a different kind of system. This isn't like a front coming in from the west. This is a front that came up from the south and stalled just south of Nantucket. And it's almost like an extratropical hybrid storm. It's not quite the remnant of that storm that went into South Carolina, but it's sort of an appendage of it that broke off and formed a new low, and that keeps on happening. So this morning, we have another new low. It's called the triple point low, east of the benchmark. We talked about the benchmark yesterday, 70 degrees west, 40 degrees north. That's that cross just southeast of Nantucket. And the low's actually a little stronger today at 1,003 millibars, but the wind is not quite as strong on Nantucket Sound because the barometer is lower today in Maine. There's a backdoor cold front slipping south through Maine today, so that's why it's a little less windy on Nantucket Sound, but it's certainly more windy right here at the Fore River in Weymouth. How do you like that motion, Pia and Leif? Just kind of going up and down and up and down. Now, I don't know if I did my garden any favors. I did some pruning of the roses again yesterday, but I tied up this tomato right here all the way up to the top because I said I would a long time ago. It had bent all the way over, and now it's going to be exposed to this nor'easter for day after day after day, but there's a lot of tomatoes on there, and they should be fine. Now, this tomato would be just as tall, but I never got to stake it, so I'm going to let that thing grow down instead of up, which is probably better with this wind. We had one pretty good dose of rain yesterday morning. That got us to a 0.13, and it hasn't really moved since then. So all our rain here in Weymouth so far came yesterday in one rain band. And trying to position these rain bands is nearly impossible. The satellite image shows a nice bright white cloud covering most of eastern New England. Oh, T-Rex was just trying to fly again. He saw a bird go by. T-Rex, you want a piece of that seagull? Funny. What were we talking about? Roses? You gotta stop and smell the roses. No, we were talking about the presentation of this storm from space. So the heaviest and thickest clouds way off to the east now with that new triple point low, but this big ocean layer is going to kind of just linger here in New England for a few days more. It's not going to be very nice this weekend, especially east of the Connecticut River and south of the Merrimack River. I'm thinking mostly where I am here in the Boston area. This is going to just keep coming. The radar shows that wall of water just offshore. And let's just go to the HRRR and show the timing of the rainfall. Here's the rain, mostly just in eastern Massachusetts, and it's kind of backing toward the west, upper level flow and all levels coming from the east and northeast. So these rain bands make it as far as about Manchester, New Hampshire to maybe Worcester to maybe Providence. So the Euro from 2 days ago that had it backing all the way up into Albany, New York appears to be out to lunch for now. But this is, again, the call on the play-by-play. And then the rain's still going tomorrow evening, so not a very pretty day at all tomorrow for the wedding. I am partaking in a family wedding tomorrow in Yarmouth with an outdoor reception that we're going to have to probably move indoors. As the total rainfall, here's the QPF, sorry. The QPF, and it comes in as another about 3-point-something inches, just if you put the cursor somewhere near Wellfleet or Truro. I actually put the cursor over Truro, and I got a 4. So we're going to add another 2 to 4 inches of rain, parts of Cape Cod, and the purple is where it's an inch, so Boston and Providence may also get an inch of rain, and off and on. The models have been all over the place with this. There's been no consistency out of any of the guidance. So if I show the Euro 5-day for Boston, it shows a separation with the temperature in the 60s and the dew point in the 50s, and kind of showery and cloudy today, but then it shows brighter weather tomorrow and Sunday with the dew point and temperature separation more significant, and drier air trying to come in from the northeast. Drier air does come in from the northeast, but this is the optimistic outlook now. The GFS is actually quite wet and quite foggy and a little less windy, though, than the Euro going into the weekend. So it's going to be a play-by-play. It is the kind of weekend where you say, okay, autumn is here. Are we turning the heat on yet? Well, grab an extra blanket, close the windows. It's still going for 80 in parts of western Massachusetts today. Depends where you are, what you're doing. Let's see. How about the wind forecast with the Euro over the tropical sector of the Northwest Atlantic? There are lows wobbling around. And again, the purple is wind sustained near 20. If you get into the red, that's wind sustained over 30 knots. And that's mostly just along the coast. But note the wind field is expanding because the barometer is rising in Maine. We have new, cooler high pressure coming in to eastern Canada. So even though there's a front off to our west, it just doesn't make it in here. We are under the influence of this ocean flow right into the end of next week. At least the wind lets up about next Wednesday, Thursday, but it's still from the northeast next Friday into next Saturday. So ultimately, even though it's not going to be a storm the whole time, I'd say it's about a 5 or 6 day nor'easter, but the wind from the northeast may still be here for 10 days in a row. And it should dry out. And the weather system from the west is going to try and come at us. And so that could be pretty interesting next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I actually didn't even look at the Euro going out that far. So I'm going to just play it here. I'm just going to play the Euro. And I should have tracked that front that's over the Midwest. Usually when you get that kind of rain over the Midwest, and it comes our way, but it's really so slow. But I think part of it's going to try and get in here Thursday. And incidentally, Florida, just on my mind, has been getting nailed day after day after day with showers and thunderstorms and hot 3 to 4 inches of rain near Port St. Lucie again yesterday. And so now we go south to the Caribbean. Is there a hurricane? I mean, to the Gulf of Mexico. Is there a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico in 10 days? Definitely, maybe. And again, I talk about the difference between the Euro and the GFS. I definitely go with the euro on this possibility as opposed to the GFS, which has been coming up with these incredible outputs of major hurricane going into the Gulf of Mexico. It's not out of the question, but you don't start your timer on a model that goes out 360 hours, whereas the euro goes out 240 hours. All right, so not much change till further notice. We're going to be chasing. I'm probably going to try and get to Sassuat Harbor today to see if I can see the flooding. I think the highest tides are going to be today, so the flooding threat's going to go down a little, but the erosion threat is going to continue right into next week. And there's that house in Wellfleet so close to the cliff. May end up in Wellfleet doing a little chase also and watch the waves there right up to the cliff. The erosion is going to be pretty serious from this storm. It's the ones that stall here that give us our most trouble, sometimes worse than a hurricane because it's day after day after day with so many high tide cycles. We went down, chased the tide yesterday at Wessagusset, so I get a little of that. Some turkeys across the street, some Wessagusset. Hey, Andrew, how's the fishing? And then watching the sky turn blue before my eyes yesterday afternoon. That was a shock. I went outside to record the blue sky, and I ended up getting a rainbow, and I did a long time lapse, which will take us out to probably another 20 minutes here. Both the time lapse I made from 5 to 6:30 and also the whole day time lapse from my webcam, which is right up there below my Tempest weather system, which I'm not totally thrilled with. T-Rex under the table, probably all wrapped up. Steve under the bush, just loving the wind. He could sit here all day, doesn't care. I'm going inside to edit and hit the road again. Talk to you tomorrow. Thank you all for the comments. I'm going to try and reply more to the comments. It's about 10 a.m. Raining harder than any of the guidance had it raining from 12 hours ago. Play by play. Weymouth, Massachusetts. 63 degrees. 10:50. Still haven't finished. Today's out the door. I'm going out the back door. There go, let's see. Liberty and Freedom. Going to pick up somebody. Another tanker time lapse today. What about this door, Rex? Come out this door. We got turkeys like fighting up there. I don't know what's going on up there. They're hopping around and stuff. Let's go check that out. Didn't know turkeys hopped. Oh, they stopped. They stopped hopping because Tim is talking. Let's try and get a little closer. Just preening, that's all. They blend. Kind of between rains now. There's bands of rain that have been coming in. Puddles have been achieved though. Breaking news. There are puddles for the first time in weeks. Let's go splash in the puddles. .40, high tide. The first with the northeast wind, not that strong, but it has picked up. We've had a few rain bands. I wanted to quickly check the rain gauge. I think we got more already today than most of the guidance printed out at all. So we had, yeah, decent, 0.13 so far. And it's gonna rain off and on, more off I think than on, for another couple days. Should we go check the water level? Maybe go down the beach. Yep, it's all the way up. Marsh flooding, high tide, maybe some coastal roads in the most low-lying areas. Let's go down to the old beach and check it out. Before I run down the hill, take advantage of this waiting line for lunch at the trough here. Mitt being so patient, Steve's chowing. All right, let's go check out the beach. Pretty high. Going up to the wall over there a little bit. High tide supposedly right about now, just about noontime. Still spilling in a little bit. And tomorrow afternoon's tide is supposed to be more than a half a foot higher than this. Love watching the eddies. Waves and waves and waves. See the groomer from last week. Probably done grooming the beach for this year. It was a nice extended summer weather though, wasn't it? Wissagussett Yacht Club. Brisk. Almost jacket weather for the first time in how long? It's during the middle of the day. Look, big T-Rexes.
Coco, Yoda.
Coco.
What's this?
Yoda. We're fine, Dad. We're fine. We're just watching the weather. They got on nice jackets for this weather. I, on the other hand, am a little underdressed. Andrew's boat, little boat there. He was out there fishing last. Did you catch anything, Andrew? Into the wind, toward the Hull Gut. Just past high tide. And coincidentally, I was just talking to your boat, but there you are in person, so now maybe I can find out for real how's the fishing been. They're still fishing the water.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
All right. So plenty of water right now.
Yeah, plenty of water.
What's up, man?
It's the moon, man. The moon is pulling the water. T-Rex was like 3 months old. We would run all the way out to the end of this groin. I'm taking him down here in a while. This is where we found him. Oh yeah, no problem working on the boat. Rocking and rolling. Rob says he likes this weather. Jacket weather. 2:30 update. It was drizzling when we were doing that tide research, and now the sky is turning blue. Drier air coming in from the northeast, and in western and northern New England it's just a beautiful sunny day and another day in the 80s. Wow, weather is hard. Play by play today. 5 o'clock update. Mitt's here to help out. He says, check the radar, Tim. I think the rain bands are backing in. Indeed, Mitt, they are. Wow. Maybe there's hope after all for watering the lawn. We picked up a quick 0.13 earlier in the day, but not much since then. Thanks for joining us. Want to go out back for a few minutes? Watch the new rain come in? Maybe this is the end, maybe it's not. More and more and more. Just amazing looking at the radar and the satellite and the imagery. It's 80s inland. We got this rain band to the north. We've got another one to the south. I came out just to make a time lapse of how the sky is moving. I had no idea that this was happening right now, but it is. Go out the door for weather and more and more and more. Let's do a time lapse of these rain bands advancing back in at 5 o'clock here in North Weymouth, Massachusetts. The rain is blown in from the east. There's another rain band to the north, and there's blue sky in between. So we have rising air where it's raining, sinking air where it's blue sky, rising air where it's raining. Just amazing. Should I make a time lapse in that direction or this direction? I think this direction. that's good for today. The rainbow hung on for over an hour. Can't make a time lapse of every quadrant all the time.